Cult of the NHS, because there actually is a cult of the NHS.
Yes, there is.
We've been through a lot of these examples before, with the dancing nurses being very not good for public relations, let's say, for the NHS, because it makes it look like something absurd. Also, the clapping in the streets with your pots and pans, all the rest of it, the holy cow that is the NHS. But there's one guy who went further than that and decided to publish an opinion piece on The Guardian that I have to talk about. Ask not what the NHS can do for us, but what we can do for the NHS.
I pledge my life to the glory of the NHS. I will fight and die for the NHS.
I will kill as many children as it takes to save the NHS.
We will fight them in the wards. We will fight them in the operating theatres. We shall never surrender.
What a friggin' lunatic. I love that website that was like, you could make meme Guardian articles.
Yeah.
And they got shut down because people kept making meme ones and people kept believing they were real. And then the Guardian got upset that like people were thinking they were writing stuff that they weren't. It was like, yeah, but no one can tell the difference.
Yeah, exactly. That's only because you're such a meme anyway.
Anyway, so this is real. You can go read it in your own time, but let's get into it. This chap says, we love the National Health Service.
Oh, the dear leader.
It's a pure, unconditional love. That's
That's
his opening line. There's unconditional love. It can do no wrong.
What?
Ever. Most of us have experience of great treatment within the NHS. Are you serious?
Okay. No, right. Just to be clear, right? I live in the southwest of England. Every time I've used the NHS, it's been good service.
I've had some bad stories, but
I've not had a problem.
A lot of waiting lists. Let's just put it on that one.
Sure, but I don't deify the NHS. To me, it's just a service.
Something you pay for, anyway.
Yeah.
And terrible treatment too. Okay, fair enough. Yet our love for the institution seldom wavers. Even when treated badly. When things go well, we praise the NHS. But when things go badly, we tend to blame individual hospitals, doctors, or whole groups of doctors, such as GPs, who are getting disgraceful kicking just now. But it's never the NHS's fault.
Right, so this sounds like he's about to start condemning the NHS as an institution.
You would have thought, but no, he gives you the roles that you can do to save your holy NHS wherever you are.
This is mad.
As a member of the NHS Home Guard.
What I love about this as well is they act as if there was no healthcare in Britain before the National Health Service.
No.
Everyone just died.
You should have plague doctors or something that would like rub toads on you.
Yeah. Well, like not even that. There was just nothing. There was no healthcare at all, and then the NHS descended from the heavens.
Clement Attlee came out of the mist.
Yeah.
It was just like, hey, what about state-funded health service?
Yeah,
What's
and it
a
was
health
just
service?
like, yeah, exactly. Wow, thank you, my Lord Attlee. But the thing is, it was exactly like you were saying at the Labour conference. Your clips was we owe our lives to the NHS. So if it wasn't for the NHS, none of us would even exist.
No. Also, we have no purpose.
Yeah, of course.
We'd have no one to pray to or to be children for.
God.
Except...
Bring back religion. Okay, bring it back.
He continues. So we venerate the NHS and howl at governments to fund it better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the NHS funding is not just a straight graph, straight upwards.
But as individuals, what can we do to help this institution we profess to love so well? I love my dog, so I feed and walk him. I love my football team, so I follow them everywhere. But what about the NHS? I don't know, you could sacrifice your children to it if you feel like it. I don't care what you do, mate. Anyway, he says, yes, I pay my taxes and, during the pandemic, applaud in the street because you're a literal lemming. It literally goes out and is NHS.
Yeah.
Oh. Why such...
Actual religious rituals, though.
Yes. Why such was the vigour of my saucepan banging that I broke my favourite wooden spoon?
No way. No way. This has to be satire.
Again, it's like the satire website, but it's not. It's real. I've also, on occasion, slotted coins into charity tins.
Oh, wow, the bare minimum.
It's not a charity either. You're forced to pay
But, I mean,
for
it could be.
But now I'm wondering what else it is we should be doing.
I tell you what, I know what, right? What you could do is go down to the NHS and offer free foot rubs to all the nurses. No, seriously, they'd probably be thrilled with it.
Yeah, go for it.
And that'd be a good use of your time. You'd be doing your sacred duty to the NHS.
I get kicked off a bit of creep. Yeah.
Sure, but
just comes in like religious robes or whatever. It's just like, can I please rub your feet? It's like,
literally, yeah.
Security.
No, that's what they used to do to Christ.
Okay.
They'd wash his feet, and you can do the same for the nurses.
So, in other words, he says, I ask not what the NHS can do for us, but what we can do for the NHS. He goes on, this thought came to me while I was speaking to medics involved in the COVID vaccine trials I'm taking part in. And this is what he then goes on to argue. What you can do is take part in drugs trials.
I suppose that is something you can do for the NHS.
There's nothing wrong with drugs trials or all the rest of it. I do find it weirdly creepy that this guy's invoking your religious duty to take part in them, though.
Go and be an experiment for the NHS.
Please go and do your religious duty of being a guinea pig.
This is so creepy.
I think that's a religious duty, but okay. Anyway, he continues to write further down. Dr. Suki Belandra is Life Sciences lead for this alliance and has a very clear answer when I ask her what we, as individuals, can do to help the NHS. Quote, every time a patient has an appointment with the healthcare professional, they should ask them about research and how they could get involved, she says. It's not just drug trials. Research should be in the very fabric of the healthcare system, and patients should be involved in threading research through the system as healthcare professionals themselves. Right. I don't work for the NHS, so no, I'm not going to be involved as.
But literally, come and be our guinea pigs.
Yes, which there's nothing wrong with drugs trials if you want to take part in it.
No, but they usually pay you.
It's meant to be voluntary, paid, and not a service to the dear leader.
And the thing is, as well, like there are side effects from taking part in drugs trials that are not always good.
Yeah. So he then goes on to say, "Okay, got it. What else can we do?" And then he lists someone else. Samantha Bat Rolden is an intensive care and air ambulance doctor who helps lead an organisation called NHS Million, which aims to create, quote, a super team of 1 million people who love and cherish the NHS.
What's my job? I'm going to create a cult.
What is my purpose?
I'm going to get 1 million-man cult of the NHS together. That's what.
I mean, marching down the street, just like hymns about how, I don't know, we will stay together. Or maybe it's going to be those TikTok songs, and they're going to be all dancing together with their asses out.
God, this is so creepy.
I don't know.
Literally a church.
Yeah.
Go sing some hymns. Get together in congregations. Oh, God.
1 million man march, the 1 million simp march. Anyway, so her first suggestion is the simplest: to remember the NHS staff are human. Quote,
but are they? Are they not more than human? They do work for the NHS.
They could be angels, so... quote,
there is a glow around them when you see them.
We all have feelings, emotions, our own issues, sure. This doesn't seem a lot to ask. On practical matters, she implores us to get our flu or COVID vaccines. When driving, to wear seatbelts and not use our phones. To not call an ambulance unless we really need to. And always keep our doctor's appointments.
The bureaucrat's mantra: always keep your doctor's appointment.
It's like your mother's.
It's a holy duty.
So, I mean, as you mentioned, some of those things are illegal anyway. Yeah. I don't know what the hell she wants us. Okay, whatever. But remember to clean your teeth too, folks.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think we may
seriously do that, but like, carry on.
We think we may owe it to the institution to try our best to be healthy. That's right. You literally live for the NHS.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I cut sugar out of my diet was just for the NHS, Callum.
Oh, you're such a saviour.
I know.
Clap, clap.
I know. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take the applause now. Thank you.
Even if we feel we don't owe it to ourselves, but you do owe it to the holy NHS. Don't get thin for yourself. What, you're living longer? That might harm the NHS. Because you might end up in a hospital.
Quit smoking because of the amount of hospital time you'll take up.
Actually, no. If you want to help the NHS, you should take up smoking. Because
really?
If you smoke in the UK, loads of that money goes to the NHS to pay for it.
Okay.
Also, you die younger, therefore you don't take up hospital beds.
Oh, that's a good
older.
point.
So
do your duty and light one up.
Yeah, I mean, this leads to such absurdities as I've seen on some stickers, I think in Exmouth actually, which was do your duty for the NHS, kill yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's how this logic goes eventually.
Well, that's where it gets to. Just kill yourself.
Anyway, so he says, and I'm slightly in disagreement with Bat Roden on this. She gets the last word in anyway. Quote, the beauty of the NHS is that ultimately you owe us nothing.
Oh, that's right, because we fucking pay for it!
No matter who you are, where you come from, or the illness you have, we will be there. But to those who don't recognise how special this is, we want to give something back. Please know how much we appreciate you.
No, but I hate this so much, right? Okay, it does matter who you are and where you've come from, right? Because if you're some foreigner who's just turned up, you do owe us something. You owe us money to pay for the service you're using. I pay a goddamn extortionate amount of my taxes to the NHS. And so, you guys owe me.
Literally. I think they have like a health surge or something now. When you get a visa, you have to pay like this amount of money.
Good.
It's several grand.
Good.
To stay for a certain period of months or whatever. Which is the same for you getting health insurance when you go to somewhere
Absolutely.
else as well. But I love how she's like giving this version of events, and you could argue is
creepy and weird.
No, but like a soft cult in which she's just
soft cult?
You owe us nothing. But he's like, yeah, I disagree with that. I think you do owe everything to the NHS. Literally, your entire lives, your existence, your food, your money.
My life for the NHS.
Anyway, so if we move on from this, we got an example of what he's talking about, where you can stay healthy to save the NHS. Give up meat.
It's all right. I've basically doubled my meat consumption to cancel all of this out.
I know, but also, Carl, you need to cut the meat out of your diet, and that'll make sure you get thinner.
No, it was the opposite, actually.
Yes, which is the absurdity in this. They're just like, no. Do the thing that doesn't seem to work.
But see, that health and environmental reasons. Yeah, well, I'm pro-global warming,
yeah. So Britons have cut meat consumption by 17% over the last decade, but they need to double these efforts in order to meet the targets for healthy diets and sustainable food production set out by the National Food Strategy earlier this year. Meat production is a major contributor to global heating and land degradation, while eating lots of red and processed meat has been linked to greater risk of developing cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain kinds of cancer. I have some doubts. I've seen Tick talking about this as well. You know, the guy I mentioned who did the Hitler's socialism video? He's very suspicious of all of a sudden, everyone needs to eat bread all the time. Rice, carbs, the food pyramid, all that stuff. Like, I think that's more about control than about people's diets.
Quite possibly. I mean, I think there's probably something to do with processed meat. I think there might be something there.
Yeah, that's right.
But when it comes to just cuts of steak, I think you'd be fine. We've been eating them for literally thousands of years.
There's also a quote in here I found really funny. So they looked at a survey of people eating meat, and they said, what was quite surprising was that a lot of the literature suggests that people from lower socioeconomic status groups consume more meat. And more red and processed meat.
Yeah, because hot dogs and things like that, right?
Yeah, I don't
Junk
know.
meat.
No surprise whatsoever, you would have thought. But also just like, people eating meat who are poor.
They're not
can't
eating
stand it.
prime cuts of steak.
But no, you should give up meat. You should do literally whatever they tell you, because your life is for the holy NHS. You live for the NHS. You will eat what the NHS tells you. You will do what the NHS tells you with all of your time, free and otherwise. And if you don't, then you're a bad citizen. And I thought we'd go to the Labour conference, as you mentioned, for an example of their position on all of this. So if we can play the first clip, please.
The pandemic has made us see how fragile all of our health can be and the implications of becoming seriously ill. We owe our lives to the NHS.
Yeah, as you mentioned, literally. And that, in the context of that, she's not going on like, oh yeah, well, I got COVID, was in the hospital, therefore, I owe some debt to the NHS. No, she wasn't.
I owe my life to the NHS.
She was just talking about racial disparities within the NHS.
It's literally God.
But, okay, it's that's the Labour position. You definitely owe your life to it.
Yeah.
I also thought we destroyed the myth again of the funding. Because
Yeah.
this is the graph here. If we can scroll down to see this. This is funding in real terms, as I forgot to mention last time. So this is with inflation taken into account. And it's a straight line up.
Yep. And then the little violet increases are extra money for COVID.
Yes. 63 billion in 2020, 22 billion so far in 2021.
And notice that it's just before that, 159 billion, highest it's ever been. And you can see before about 1997, it was much, much lower, weirdly enough. I wonder why.
Yeah, and I have some sympathies, though, with people who work at the NHS who complain about their salaries not going up.
Oh, yeah.
Or the equipment not being there, or so on and so forth. Because the money keeps going up, but you guys' situation doesn't seem to get better, and I have some thoughts on that. Because we all know about the 70,000 diversity and inclusion hires that Boris hired, and then the 200,000 managers, 200,000 a year.
Yeah, you want to move laterally, so you're going from being a nurse to being an advisor on race and gender.
Yeah, and if we can go forward, this is something I got sent a while back, which is the BAME badges that were being handed out at the NHS. I mean, look at this.
Oh my God!
Literally has the word BAME.
Literally put it on you. Wear the star. Just wear the star.
I can't get over it. These were being handed out. There was a lad who sent me this, and I think his girl worked at the NHS, and she was given this. She was just like, "This is cringe. I don't want this."
Listen, Untermensch, put it on so we can identify you as a non-white.
But more of that money that we keep throwing in is not going to where it needs to be. If we go to the next one here, we have a new story. Who's just won a £220,000 contract to push gender ideology through the NHS? Stonewall.
God.
Oh, fantastic. So expect more rainbow badges, rainbow flags, rainbow cupcakes, rainbow stairwells. Also expect men to be allowed to self-identify into women's hospital wards. Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so we go to the next one here. This is the article. And this article is fantastic. I'm going to give full, glory to this person. So, badges of obedience. Recently, when the government broke an election pledge and announced a tax rise for millions of workers, so to provide extra funding for the supposedly cash-strapped NHS and adult social care, Sajid Javid promised to be watchful for waste and wokery within the NHS.
He wasn't very watchful, was he?
No. Following Keir Starmer's spine-lacking declaration that you shouldn't say that only women have a cervix, Javid tweeted, "Total denial of scientific fact, and he wants to run the NHS." Because Javid will literally say anything if he thinks it's popular by the looks of it. So the Rainbow Badge scheme started out by the Eleanor Children Hospital in London. The intention, inclusivity and welcome. But soon, someone had the bright idea that you shouldn't be able to just wear the rainbow badge, you should earn it. You should earn the badge.
What am I going to do, suck a dick?
Not quite. For example, by, quote, making a pledge on social media about how you will be an effective LGBT plus ally.
You've got to say the Shahada.
Yes. Or you could
Get baptized.
write a blog on being an ally or an LGBT plus inclusion. And she notes here,
Oh, amazing.
Václav Havel described why, in the Soviet bloc, greengrocers put similar signs of compliance and conformity in their shop windows. Also, straight out of the Soviet bloc is another way to earn the rainbow badge. You can snoop on others.
Oh, of course.
By, quote, looking at LGBT plus representation of our applicants, participants, and other people working within the academy.
Amazing.
To find the class traitors. Then, by June this year, the NHS had decided to take, quote, this vital initiative to the next level. Bigger badges, perhaps? No. Why stop at badges when you can start a new scheme to benchmark and award NHS organisations for their work on LGBT plus inclusion? By July, the tendering process had started. The contract value, £220,000 from the purse of the overstretched NHS. The goal? To build a more systemic approach to LGBT awareness and inclusion within the organisation, and to address issues around monitoring culture, education and training the workforce more consistently.
Sajid, this is the wokery you were supposed to be looking out for.
It's as blatant as it gets. And I love how she writes here. My, how the scheme has grown. Why stop at badges and obedient blogs when you can enforce compulsory education and training on all staff across the NHS?
Amazing.
For 200 grand. Another 200 grand of everyone's national insurance down the bloody drain.
If you're in Sajid Javid's constituency, please email this to him and say, Sajid, why are you allowing this to continue?
I wonder. It is already possible to get an indication of what the scheme will promote. Some trusts have participated in the trial. The Queen Elizabeth Hospital NHS Foundation Trust in Kings Lynn was delighted to be selected for the pilot. They proudly flew the LGBTQ flag to commemorate the holy month of Pride. The Deputy Chief Executive said, Pride Month is just one of the many opportunities we have to celebrate the LGBT community. It's like, okay. They also set up a Queen's Hospital LGBTQ plus and allies network. Again, all non-queers. We're just allies. I think gays who don't buy into this as well are allies or something. Or are they enemies? Oh,
They're class traitors, aren't they?
Yeah, they're literal enemies.
Counter-revolutionaries. That's what they are.
Fantastic, because you only need allies for a war. Anyway, moving on from there. So the Queen's Hospital got bronze in this award. I don't know what they didn't do to get...
Not gold.
Not gold or silver.
Losers.
Some other hospital, I think it was Newcastle, got silver. Don't know what they did, but whatever. And no one can get gold, it seems. According to Stonewall, they're not going to give gold to anyone until they, I don't know, start doing foot rubs.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
So she talked about the rainbow staircases and the rainbow cupcakes and stuff they did to try and get the bronze. If we go to the next one here, we have the rainbow stairs. They're real.
Oh, cringe.
And if we go to the next one, we have the rainbow cakes, which they also did to try and get their bronze award. I love it. It's like Scouts or something. I got my bronze award.
This is just like that. But anyway, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so let's move on from there. So we keep going. Just a note on the rainbow fetishisms as well. I love this. So this is a pride walk.
A racial pride walk.
So what is this? A zebra crossing? And instead they do the racial pride flag as the zebra crossing.
Yeah.
With black and brown segregated. And people putting up notices saying guide dogs can't use these. So please change it back.
Shut up, blind person. We're celebrating transgender brown people.
We've got better things to do than care about the people who live here. Anyway, so let's go back to the article because there's some other stuff in here that I thought was funny. So 40 further trusts are now participating in this scheme that costs 200 grand. Expect more rainbow badges, rainbow flags, rainbow cupcakes, and rainbow stairwells. Also expect men to go into the bathrooms, except Stonewall will defend all of this as well. Most of all, we should expect the Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, to do something about it. Back in August, he said he would review NHS transgender policies. Now he has promised to drive out waste and wokery at the Conservative Party conference this week. He also raised those concerns again. Now we need not words, but actions.
Yeah, in your own time, Sajid.
Let's go to the next one.
They're pissing away my money.
He ain't going to do anything. I ain't buying this for a minute. After he tweeted this, which is just like, yes, I stand with Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I don't think this guy cares at all. I think he'll say literally anything, because this was when he was out of the cabinet as well. Yeah. And he was trying to shame the cabinet for being racist. Yeah. I thought we'd just end on this as well. There's one more story that came out just before we went live, which I had to add. So if we go to the last one here. NHS policy documents compare patients who want to stay on single-sex wards as to racists. and offenders who need trans education to improve their attitude, whistleblower claims.
Oh, they need re-education.
I love that, though. The NHS has whistleblowers. What are they whistleblowing on?
Well, the Soviet-style re-education camps.
Exactly. It's never on treatment.
No.
It's never on like, oh, we don't have this or have... No, it's
always ideology.
It's always ideology now. So anyway, that's the cult of the NHS, which we owe our lives to.
And we're forced to pay for.
If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can catch the full podcast at 1 p.m. every weekday UK time at lotuseaters.com. You can also sign up at lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site.
Yeah, that's how we keep this whole operation running. And recently we've put up loads of great stuff, such as this interview with legendary comedian Steve Hughes, one of my personal favourite comedians, so it was a real honour to be able to meet him. But one thing that I didn't expect, that he would be such a deep thinker, and this podcast is genuinely like a meeting of minds in a way. He was right on my wavelength on a bunch of things and helped me actually connect a bunch of dots, but I'm not going to carry on and spoil it. We also, of course, have lots of interesting articles that have been written, such as this one by Josh about the dumbest country on earth. And for for silver tier subscribers, we also include a link, so it's we have an audio reading of it from a chap called Jonathan, who has a very smooth voice that you will enjoy. And this is great because often I don't have time to read all of the articles we put up, because we've put up a lot of regular content, and so this saves me the hassle of having to read it myself. So I really actually am very appreciative of this feature on a personal level. But we also do the Contemplations and Epochs, which are just interesting podcasts about interesting things. These are regular weekly podcasts. So this one is one of our writers, Josh, who's he's got a master's degree in psychology, talking about theories of intelligence and how they matter. And of course, we've got the Epochs, where myself and Bo, or in this case it was Josh and Bo, talking about the life of Sir Francis Drake. So that's 2 solid hours talking about England's most notorious adventurer. But we've also got lots and lots of other ones. This is number 21, so there's a good back catalogue there. And finally, we have our book clubs, and this is the part that I'm most proud of. Recently, we've done Shooting an Elephant by George Orwell, and
Reflections on a Ravaged Century by Robert Conquest.
Yeah, Robert Conquest is fantastic. Just if you want Western chauvinist historian, he's your man.
Anti-socialism.
Yes, in all forms, it's fantastic. And like I said, that's what keeps the podcast running. So if you want to become a member, thank you very much, and we think there's some great stuff you'll enjoy.